I want to talk about the BMW F30 for a minute. The F30 is my favorite modern 3 Series. The G20, whatever it is, I've dismissed that one because in America you can't get that with the manual transmission. So it's not a real 3 Series. So as far as I'm concerned, the most modern BMW 3 Series then, the F30s, and then the E90s, which, alright, neither of those are modern. But come on, they're the newest ones you can get with the manual transmission. I know that E90's like totally way older. Anyway, and this is all good and fine. So I'm looking at them aesthetically. Aesthetically. Anyway, man, their appearance, the way they look. I already decided, like, it's no contest to me. That F30, I think it's gorgeous. It's beautiful, you know. It's got great lines. To me, it looks totally modern. I love it, you know. And I was just on the Wikipedia page for the F30 for no particular reason. That's so all and whatsoever. And I just clicked the little, the little thing that went back to the E90, and I looked at it and went back and forth between the two of them for a little bit, and then I realized, man, I see this flaw, this kryptonite, this hood line kryptonite in the F30, and it bugged me. So that's what I'm talking about right now. I totally thought that the E90, to me, just looked like an outdated F30. I know they changed a lot when they did the LCI, life cycle impulse, on the E90. And I don't know in the picture on the Wikipedia page if that's the older one or the newer one, but anyway, I don't really care for the E90. To me, it's like old enough that it just looks outdated, but it's not old enough and it doesn't look cool. I don't love the styling, anything of it like that. So like I love the E36, man. I mean, E30's awesome too, kind of. To me, the E30 it looks very old, but I'm getting sidetracked. I do like the E36 a lot though, to say nothing of the E46. But anyway, yeah, it's that hood line, man. So like where the hood, latches down, I'm just seeing like that's such a flat, straight across line, and something about it just felt like it didn't contrast well with the rest of the car. It's got such nice like curves and smooth lines and sleek and aerodynamic. It's a sexy car, man. It's a good looking car. The F30 is. But then I'm looking at it like, dang, man, the E90 is kind of similar looking to it. And I'm like, all right, so how come the line's different? And it's because they incorporated it into the grill differently, so you can't see it as easy. Like it doesn't stick out the same way is what I'm trying to say. On the F30, that thing just like cuts across, super straight, and it kind of frames up the face. The F30, it's kind of got, I don't know, it's got like a little bit of compactness to the face. I mean, not really to say that it looks starkly different than the other ones. I mean, compactness, how can I say that when like the headlights are going all the way into the grill, and so it's looking different than maybe you could say smaller features of the previous E90. So anyway, I was just looking at excuse me, I was looking at some older photos of older cars. I was looking at the E36, and I'm seeing okay, this one's got the same kind of thing going on that you got on the F30, right? Kind of, but it works better on the E36. On the F30, it kind of just looks like, I don't know, it's like they designed it, but they didn't really think a whole lot about that particular line, and like they were looking at the rest, and a lot of it, the rest of it, I love the front of this car. I think it's got a beautiful face. She looked good. But looking at the E36, I don't know, I feel like there's just maybe a little bit more thought into the design, like that flat, straight across line, where the hood goes down, where the hood would attach, where hood goes down, hood goes up. It works better, man, on the E36, because you look and the headlights are square. Like the headlight assembly is square, and so it's not angled differently or anything. And they also, on this one, on the E36, if you look at it, that BMW crest, the badge there, that's up on the hood. And then if you see it, it's just like right close on the F30. It's right close down by the grill. It's right above the grill, so it's not on it won't go up with the hood, basically. It's not on the hood, it's just in front of it. And the E90 is the same way, where it's on the hood, just like the E36 it's that same way. So anyway, I'm just saying the E36, it almost looks like there was just a bit more thought and care that went into the design and everything, how it goes across. And I like it a lot. I love the E36. I think that car's got great lines. that being said, I still love the F30. I'm just thinking like now, man, maybe it's not as pretty. It's not as pretty as I thought it was. But when I was seeing that, I was still thinking like, man, maybe I don't know. I mean, I know the G20 doesn't come with a manual transmission, so it's not a real 3 Series. But maybe I'll take a second look at that. Look at that thing, and I'll see like, okay, what's the grill look like on this thing? What's the style of the headlights? Like, does it look good? It's not a bad looking car. I just aesthetically, man, I hate that word. I can't say that word at all, man. Anyway, like the G20 just wasn't quite it for me. To me, the F30 was a beautiful, just sleek, sexy car, and like that's like a perfect modern sedan. And I'm talking specifically about like the F30, the sedan. Like I'm a sedan guy. I don't know what it is, man, but 4 doors. That's just it. And I'm not really on them wagons, them touring, whatever you call them. They ain't bad. I'm getting sidetracked again. I like the sedans, man. That's my favorite. That's where my heart at. Always has sedans. Anyway, what was I going? Like the G20. So I'm looking at the G20 again, and I see that okay, that line's not there. It's not got that. What I'm seeing is like kind of an ugly line going straight across the face of that F30. I'm like, okay, that line ain't there on the G20, and it's because they did the same kind of thing they had going on that they did in the E90, where they incorporate the grill into it a little bit. But if I look at here, and I'm looking at, man, I'm just looking at some photos here, and I'm looking straight at the face of these things, and what I see here, when I look at it, man, the G20 looks like an SUV to me. I'm sorry, but it does. It looks. I know. Like, how can you say that? It's a 3 Series. It's a small car. It ain't that small anymore, man. But the grill is just a little too big, man. These modern Beamers, they just growing like that, and I don't love it, man. I just ain't down with that. It just looks wrong, man. It's too much, and something about that grill, like that's a bigger grill than they used to have, 20 years ago, whatever, on the SUVs. So yeah, when I looked at it, originally this is when I spotted it. I was on the Wikipedia page, and I was looking at that image they have up, the F30. I think it's a white car there, and I thought, yeah, it just stood out to me, that one line. But since then, I looked up a bunch of images, and I've been scrolling through them. I've spent way too much time just looking at 3 Series, man. But that's one of my favorites. And I've not even been looking at the M's, M3s. They great, but they the own thing, man. I've just been trying to look at, the what you call them, the base models and stuff, the lower trim levels, that kind of thing. So, but I did notice, I did look at the M3 on the, was that the end if that's, was that F80 M3? Yeah, F30 is just like the sedan, so the F80 M3, and I see that it's got like the same line, but the M3's got, like the wider fender, it's got more going on, so I don't know, I feel like it kind of pulls you away from that a little bit more. So yeah, I was looking at a lot of pictures of these 3 Series, and I decided, I still am not a fan of the E90. I don't love everything about, like, I want for my collection, man. I'm totally gonna get, I'm gonna get an E36, no doubt. I'm gonna get an E46. I'm definitely getting an F30. I'm getting an F80 too, man. I'm definitely getting one of them F80s, for sure, man. But I don't think I really need an E90. I'll probably have one at some point in time. I don't have one right now, but I'll probably end up with an E90 at some point in time. I don't know. But it might not be a forever car for, me personally. So yeah, I was looking at so many photos of these things. And looking at it in white, I almost feel like it's worse offending. My main focus of what I'm trying to talk about here is that line, man, right above the Beamer crest. It goes from headlight to headlights, that hood line on the F30. And I think it's probably most offensive when you look at it. Excuse me. Most offensive when you look at that thing and you see it on white. Because, if you got black, that'll hide lines, which is, I don't want to. I like to see, man, some of the shape of this thing because it's got beautiful lines, man. It's a pretty car. So yeah, I was looking at a lot more photos and different angles, this and that. Actually, I walked over and saw one in person because one of my neighbors, they got one too. So I just went over and was like, let me just look at this, see how it looks in person. They got a white one, and with the white one, it's the dark. The lines are kind of black as far as like where the hood is there, like it's kind of a black line. But after looking at a bunch of different photos of them, specifically these F30s, some F80s too, I came to the conclusion that, you know what, something about it, like, it can throw me off a little bit, but it depends on like the mindset I have going in looking at it, because it kind of frames. I think the F30. I think it's got a pretty face, man. It's got a mean face, but like, I don't know, something sophisticated about it. I like it. I like it a lot, and I decided that, you know what, this thing ain't gonna ruin the car for me. I see it from a lot of different angles, and I'm like, you know what, that's still a pretty car. I don't actually hate that line. The more I look at it, I think that maybe there was a better way they could go about it. What I find really interesting is that, like the BMW crest, the symbol, seeing that being not on the hood, because looking at like all the other generations, it's on the hood. So it's kind of different. Like they moved it in the spot a little bit. But you know what? At the end of the day, my conclusion has been that this line, I don't love it, but it sure as heck ain't going to ruin the car for me, I still think the front is gorgeous. That side profile, gorgeous. I love the taillights on it. I love this car, man. I don't have one right now, but if I do get one, probably not going to get rid of it, man. Oh, plus you can get these with, what is it, the B58 engine? I've heard, good things about them. So anyway, that's all I wanted to say, man. F30, she's sexy.